All Hands Craft Cocktails is a new bar-strength canned cocktail. It's made with 6 times distilled vodka, 10% ABV, to make sure you never have to sacrifice the quality of your drink. All Hands Craft Cocktails, founded by Aggies and a proud partner of Texas A&M Athletics. It is the Buzz Williams Show, and we are at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. And for the next hour, we're talking some Aggie basketball. We're doing it with Buzz, and we did not get a chance to talk after the game in Houston on Saturday. First of all, howdy.
I have one question.
Yeah.
And one statement.
Okay.
And the first question is, did you know I wasn't going to do postgame?
I was communicating with Brad about it because I do not want you coming up through the fans and all of that. So we kept communicating and knew. And then eventually I said, nah. No.
And so you told those 12 people that listen, Buzz is not doing radio not because he lost.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Because I don't ever want anybody to think I'm too scared to talk after we lose.
It's the only time you have not joined us post-game, but it was because we're back on that concourse, and it's a hassle to get up there.
Well, I didn't know where you were,
Yeah.
and so when I finished talking to the team, Brad said we're going to do media right now.
Right.
And I was like, now? And he said, yeah, we're going in there now. So Four and Henry went with me. So when we're leaving media, I said, where's radio? And he said, you're not doing radio.
Yeah. The only other times we don't, you have your obligations, SEC tournament, NCAA tournament.
That I do have to or that I don't?
You meet with Post. Because normally we take you live, you talking with the assembled media, usually on that podium, or you're heading up to the SEC network up on that studio.
I didn't know you guys streamed it live or however you say that.
We do that in the postseason because it's easier, because that also can be a nightmare to try to get you to us, but it's never because you don't want to.
So I just wanted to make sure that the 12 disciples knew that that's why I didn't show up. And 9 of them are here.
Yeah.
And the reason why I'm asking is Paul and Nani are making their first ever guest appearance to any radio show I've ever done.
Ever?
Yeah. And so 9 of the 12 disciples are here, plus Paul and Nani, 10 and 11. So there's 1 listener tonight.
Let me. I'm not going to check the stream right now because I don't want to even give you the number.
And you know who texted me after I said this one time? I get text every time I say this. Some influential people texted me, and I was shocked that they were among the 12. One was Mr. McLaren, the owner of 44 Farms.
Yeah.
He says he listens to every pregame, postgame, and radio show.
He texts me nearly every game.
Okay, so we should keep doing it in hopes of a hamburger or hot dog.
Right. Or jerky. Kevin wants some beef jerky.
And then I can't always keep up with my texts or my voicemails. And so today, Baby and Mason played an afternoon game, and so I got to go. And anytime there's a halftime or in between games, I just get up so people can't get to me. So after Baby's game, I leave the gym while Mason's group is warming up. And I'm like, I'm going to try to see if I can respond to some of these texts and listen to some of these voicemails. The president of the Green Bay Packers, who's a friend of mine, is an unbelievable person. And his wife, for some reason, likes me. He had left a message from the Monday after Disney World. And he said he listened to the radio show. And I just happened to call him back. I said, Mr. Bergstrom, I coached at Marquette 10 years ago. You're not listening to the radio show at Texas A&M. He said, yeah, on Mondays at 7, right?
Wow.
I said, how do you know to listen to that? He said, my wife knows how to turn it on.
Yeah, he's probably streaming.
So that's 2 of the 12.
Big hitters. Big hitters.
And the other 9 are here.
Yeah, yeah. And every time you say that, see that one in the back?
Well, she doesn't count because she lives with you. So we can't count Corey. And technically, we probably shouldn't count Paul and Nani since I used to live with them.
I see, yeah. But can't we count them just so we can get it above 12?
Well, I'm saying, like, when you pay the electric bill, who pays it?
Right back there.
I know, but you live with her.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I'm saying, like, if you live under the roof where there's only one electric bill, you can't get a double vote.
Okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying.
It's 2 people, and if we count your children, we could say 4, but it's 1 electric bill.
Yeah.
So you only get 1 vote.
Yeah, I see. I see.
1 per household. That's it. That's a better way, easier way of saying it.
I never envisioned this show starting like this, but I'm very.
I wanted to make sure that nobody thought that after being down 21, because I can't coach, that they thought I was scared to talk to you.
No, that was not the case. That's absolutely not the case.
And you also know, once a year of the 12 that I have to attend, I try to let the staff do it.
Yeah.
To get them some exposure. But that means I've done this 54 times, scheduled to do it 54 times, and 4 of the 54 I haven't done it thus far. But the 4 times that the staff has done it has always followed a win, never a loss. Because I never want the 12 disciples to think Buzz is putting it on the staff.
Right, after a loss.
So I told Rock, this year, you guys are coming on after if and when we lose. So you get a little bit of Monaco throwing different softball questions, seeing if you're going to bite since you got your brains beat in.
Yeah. Like, I could argue with you, but I sent Todd Callis to Orlando, so I can't. I missed those.
But that's you
yeah.
Subliminally went under the football umbrella, even though the football game was Saturday.
Right.
We didn't play at Disney World on Saturday.
No.
And I know you like flying privately, but they do have commercial planes still.
Yeah, but I'm not going to Orlando over Thanksgiving. I've lived there, Buzz. I know what that airport's like. I'd have been sweating trying to get to Baton Rouge. It's a shame because I missed some
But we
great games.
played Friday at 11 a.m.
But I don't know that. I only assume. I assume best case scenario, win, right?
Right. And so if you're abiding by team rule number 1, you would assume we would have won game number 1 on Thanksgiving.
Yes, Thursday, right.
So then you would have looked at the bracket and known that on Black Friday we were playing at 11 a.m.
Right.
Which would have potentially led to your wife looking up that there were 4 flights after 3 o'clock from Orlando.
Right. Now, what if? I don't like to say it. What if we lost and then I have the 4 o'clock flight out of OIA and
on Friday.
Yeah.
And you still would have got to Baton Rouge by noon on Saturday, regardless.
If I missed that flight at 4.
Well, you wouldn't have missed it. We wouldn't have played. So you'd have been there early. You would have knocked out all of the complaining about.
How about coming back for Sunday? I don't know what time then it is.
No,
on Sunday.
I don't think that you're tough enough to go back down and back. I think you could have done one. You wouldn't have done round trip.
Okay.
You would have driven. You would have flown privately back home with football.
I'm going to cut my losses. How about that? He's Buzz Williams. This is the Buzz Williams Show. More when we return to Rudy's. This is Aggie basketball from Learfield. Howdy, Ags. Andrew Monaco here, inviting you all to visit Costa Vida Fresh Mexican Grill. Baja-style Mexican, made from scratch daily, serving breakfast tacos, lunch, and dinner. Aggie-owned and operated in South College Station. That's our friend Holly, has that Costa Vida. A proud sponsor of Texas A&M athletics and basketball. We continue with the Buzz Williams Show. We're at Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. After Saturday's game at Houston, 70-66, you talked about what you talked about, down at one point by 21. Buzz, you talked before about the boxing analogy. Then Kelvin Sampson, after the game, said that when A&M and Houston play, it's like when your cousin gets into a fight at a family reunion and the adults have to break it up. You used the boxing analogy, and it was physical, and both teams were tested in that one, weren't they?
It was as physical a game as we've played since we've lived here. They're good enough to win a national championship. Coach is a Hall of Fame coach. He's deserving of being in the Hall of Fame now. What he's done, the places he's done it at each of those places, they've never had the level of success or the consistency of success that he's had at each of his stops. Our industry is in dire need of more Coach Sampsons, not just in men's basketball, but I think in all sports. I love their team. I enjoyed studying them. As I mentioned to our team, it was an easy scout, but a very difficult game to play in. And I thought our guys were prepared. I think they understood what it was going to be prior to tip-off. I thought we started the game real well.
Yeah.
The first 5 to 7 minutes, good. The next 10 to 12 minutes, not good. Too many turnovers, too many points in transition by them. The first 5 minutes of the second half, not because of turnovers, but we were just trading baskets. And then I thought the last 15 minutes, I understand we fouled them at the end to give them 2 more points, but the last 15 minutes of the game, I thought we were the better team. The problem is we were only better than them for arguably 20 total minutes, and they were distinctly better than us in the remaining 20 minutes. And so, similar to Iowa State, probably more justification against Iowa State. That was the first time we had played without Henry or Boots, with 0 time on the court to practice. There's a little bit of justification for being disheveled, I think, in the beginning of the Iowa State game. Having said that, we were down 21 with 2 minutes to play in the first half, and it's the program's largest comeback in the history of the school. And so, as I mentioned to the team this morning in Early Bird, I'm not ready to close down Houston yet. I need to study it more. Not because I want to study Houston. I need to study Houston more. But we don't need to get down 21.
Right.
It is just as important in studying as what led to outscoring them by 17 over the last 15 minutes. We're not two different teams, but I want to study the data in the 7 quad 1 games we've played on what are we doing offensively that's really good? What are we doing that we need to throw away? What are we doing defensively that's good? What do we need to throw away? And then who is it that we're playing when we're really good on both sides of the ball? And who is it that we're playing when we're not really good on both sides of the ball? And I think over the next 2 weeks, that's what we have to determine going into conference play. And that's not atypical. That would be what any coach would say. After 11 games this time last year, we were 6-5 and 121st in the net. That's a bad 6-5 team. We're 7-4 today, and our net is 16th. That's a good 7-4. But there's more lessons to be deemed from the 7-4 than the 6-5. The 6-5 is categorically, you have major issues. How can you put as many how can you plug as many holes in the boat as possible so it doesn't sink? 7-4 and 16th in the country in numbers that matter, that's a different conversation. Are you good enough to play after spring break? As of now, yes. Okay, how can you play until Easter Sunday? That decision becomes much harder. It doesn't mean that we're going to win every game. That's not what I'm saying. But I've asked the staff to help me do a more broad self-scout so that we cut out the opinions. Oh, Buzz, you guys were great. Y'all were down 21, and Henry's at the line to tie. Yeah. Well, let's talk about how we were down 21 and get it to that point. And let's genuinely dissect it. And then now let's also dissect, well, how did we get down 21? Because you can't get down 20. We're 1-1 when that happens.
Yeah.
The numbers say that won't happen in a positive way many times. So I want to keep thinking. I want to keep looking at different things. I've asked the staff to do the same because there has to be things that we need to practice that come from that evidence. And as of this moment in time, I don't know what it is because it's going to take hours and hours to get that information. Like I told the team this morning, you guys know I don't talk to you unless I'm convicted by my heart. And if I'm not convicted by my heart, then I just tell you what I believe. Mm-hmm. But there's not a conviction. And so I told the team this morning what I'm telling you. I don't know exactly what it is. But that's my responsibility to figure it out because ultimately my job is to help you in between the lines. And it's obvious we're doing a lot of good things. And we've played really good teams. We lost to Houston by 4, who's number 1 in the net. We lost to Florida Atlantic, who's 10th in the net by 7. We lost to Memphis, who's 33 today by 6. We got beat at Virginia, who's 22 by 12. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. I do not think, and I told our team this as soon as the game was over, when we got beat by Memphis, we were never ourselves. That's a credit to their coach and their team. We were in a blender the entire game, physically, mentally, emotionally. We weren't in a blender against Houston. No. We were aware. We were self-aware. We were opponent-aware. Our guys were engaged. They knew what was up. And we didn't back up a step. They were 10-0 with 8 of their opponents never scoring more than 55 points. Our group knew what was going on. And we've got to use this to grow from it. And it's not, let's put the Houston game to bed and get ready for Friday. No, let's make sure we absorb all of it and use it to our advantage until we play at LSU.
That will open up SEC play. We'll continue. More of the Buzz Williams Show from Rudy's. Stay with us. This is Aggie basketball from Learfield. The Buzz Williams Show rolls on from Rudy's, 504 Harvey Road here in College Station. Take an opportunity to hear from one of the Aggie student athletes. Here's a conversation I had last week with the Aggies, Manny Obaseki.
How much of an impact is Boots when he's back on the floor?
Oh, yeah. I mean, Boots is an incredible player, one of the best players in the country. And, it hurts not having him on the floor there with us, but I know he's going to be back and ready. Boots, his impact on and off the ball, his ability to rebound, his ability to score, get everybody involved. I mean, it's high level, similar to Wade. Without them, Texas A&M wouldn't be where they're at. He's a great player, and I've learned a lot from him. And I'm thankful that I was able to be under his wing.
How much does it pay off that when he wasn't playing, guys stepped up? Does that give a player confidence knowing, hey, Boots isn't coming back in? It's got to be on me.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I feel like pressure makes diamonds. At the same time, there really is no pressure. You just got to go out there because you do this every day. Mm-hmm. We're hooping every day, and there's no point in overthinking and working yourself up, worried about messing up, doing this, doing that. You're on the team for a reason. And Boots has told me that time after time again, you're one of the most talented, gifted players on this team. You are one of us. Me and Wade, their unwavering confidence in me has meant so much to me.
When you say I belong, that's a big statement, isn't it?
Yeah. Growing up, I was underestimated a lot, and I was doubted a lot. a lot of questions around me. I mean, whether I knew it or not, I just wanted to hoop. I just wanted to get better, work as hard as I can, and I feel like that mindset still sticks now. Not really worrying about what everybody else thinks, what everybody else outside is thinking about you. Just come in every day, be an everyday guy, and the results will pay off.
And really, the only people who matter are the people in that locker room, correct?
Yeah, team bus number one.
Yeah.
You know, and I think Buzz implementing that has kind of helped me a lot and helps me understand, like, who's really there for you, who's really not, who are the people that you give your energy to and who are the people you don't give your energy to. Over the course of the season, like, it's going to become even more tighter, more stronger, and I feel like we're going to be at our best. I'm excited for that.
Mo, tell me if you agree with this statement. You can play college basketball, but you may not be able to play college basketball here, correct?
Right. You got to be an animal. You got to be a dog. You got to be wired up, hooked up at all times. You got to be prepared and ready to play at Texas A&M and playing for Buzz Williams. But one thing I can assure you is that he's going to have you ready. He's going to make you a better person, a better player. He's going to have you thinking differently and seeing life differently. And he's helped me so much in that regard. And I'm just so thankful that I was able to have an opportunity to play under him.
You mentioned when you were meeting with the media, patience. Is part of that patience also the mental side of this game for you?
Oh, yeah. Mental's been my biggest struggle. I'll admit it. Like, mentally, I was never really in the right spot. For a good while, I didn't know how to improve my mental. And Buzz, you know, read, take time for yourself, get off your phone, just be in the moment. Like, just embrace being by yourself and just allowing yourself to think. On top of that, come in here every day and push yourself.
At the risk of making this sound cliche, has the game slowed down for you now?
Yeah, I would say the game has. The game was never too fast. It just took me some time to really, like, understand the little things. I used to have a lot of bad habits. I still have some bad habits, I'll be honest, but just kind of limiting them to the best of my ability and playing hard as I can each and every single possession. It's just a matter of just staying in the gym, watching film, a lot of film work, and just being willing to understand that you're not where you need to be at right now. It's okay. You're not perfect. You mess up. Everybody messes up. Do better and move on.
You're not defined by the career high of 21 points. Your game is way more than that, correct?
Yes, sir. Yeah, just being an all-around, just defending, getting a bucket when they need me to, being a good teammate, energy guy, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of going out there and providing a spark, changing the game, and just being me. That's the best way I could put it.
I was talking with Hayden. I said, Anderson, Garcia, Dr. Thornton always says this. Anderson's an X factor. Solo's an X factor.
Yes.
Mo's an X factor.
Yeah.
Can you have more than one X factor on a team?
I mean, yeah, of course. And I feel like even last year we proved that. Dexter, Solo, Anderson, Jude, a lot of dudes were just so good at their role, and they embraced it. That was the most important thing. And y'all see what happened, how that turned out. So just continue to have trust and confidence in those dudes. You know, being able to do that every night, it's a blessing. And we're really lucky to have them.
When you have to think about diving on the floor, when you have to think about an offensive rebound, it's too late. It seems to be in the DNA of this team.
Oh, yeah. It's what we do every day. I can't remember the time we haven't done that every practice, you know what I'm saying, every shoot around. You know what I'm saying? Like Buzz, he wants dudes that are able to sacrifice, that are able to go hard. Perfect example, Jace Carter. I mean, he
feels like he's been here longer than he has, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's my brother right there. You know, I love that dude. And, he's been such a huge help for us. Really good dude, really skilled, can shoot it, can rebound very well. I'm just so glad he's here, too. He's an X factor as well. Does everything, gets on the floor, loose balls, plays hard, and he has heart. And that's what I really love about him.
As always, thank you so much.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
That's the Aggies' Manny Obaseki. We'll continue with the Buzz Williams Show. We return to Rudy's. Stay with us. This is Aggie basketball from Learfield. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance wants to give you a VIP Aggie basketball fan experience this year. Go to 12man.com/maroon contest and register. One winner and a guest will receive game tickets, a VIP tour of Reed Arena. You'll be recognized on the video board during the game. Register today at 12man.com/maroon contest. Texas Farm Bureau Insurance is a proud partner of Texas A&M Athletics. We continue with the Buzz Williams Show from here at Rudy's. There's always one good question an hour because it comes from Ian. And the question from Ian this week is, what's the most important aspect of your pregame preparation?
It starts 2 days before. So you've heard me mention, Ian, 2 day before, 1 day before, day of. So 3 days before is when the prep starts. Tomorrow morning I'll train at 6. That means I'm meeting with TJ at 8. And he has certain things that he teaches me on the opponent. I'll meet with him for an hour and a half, and then I meet with Coach Lair, who does certain things. So if I meet with TJ at 8, that means I'm meeting with Coach Lair at 9:30. So it starts 3 days before. There's not always 3 days before. If it's actually 2 days before, I still have the 3 day before meetings, and I would have those meetings before I train. So if I train at 6 in the morning, then I'm gonna meet with TJ, then I'm gonna meet with Coach, and then I'm gonna train, and then I'll start the 2 day meetings. I'm always gonna have the first 2 day before meeting is with Devin. So now I've met with TJ on certain things, I've met with Coach on certain things, I've met with Devin on certain things, and along the path I'm gathering all of the information in regards to how I learn best and kind of putting it together before I meet with Devin, who's the defensive coordinator. After I meet with Devin on 2 days before, the next meeting I have is with the staff. And so when we meet as a staff 2 days before, that's when we somewhat talk about their responsibilities. Like Coach Rock is in charge of personnel. So he has information that he gives me on 3 days before. So when I meet with Coach, when I meet with TJ, I have all of Rock's information. So as they're talking about certain things, certain players, I'm looking at the numbers. So we have the 2 day before meeting, and then we have practice. But before we have practice, we do 2 day before with the team. 2 day before, I always speak first, and I give them context on what I think the game is. And then Rock is going to do personnel on their starters. Devin is going to talk about the highlights, the big rocks of defense. And then I will talk about the big rocks relative to the game. 1 day before, I'm going to meet with Devin again, and we're going to have 1 day before with the team. Rock's going to do the next 4 players that play on their team. Lyle is going to do Twitter offense. That's what we call it. It's a quick snapshot of what they do defensively. Devin is going to show us guarding their plays from 2 days before in practice. And then I'm going to talk about rebounding on 1 day before. There's this software called Lucio. Lucio is you can watch the opponent. You can also watch yourself. And then you can also store plays that are favorites. So 2 days before, I watch Lucio. 1 day before, after practice is over, the night before, I do my game charts. I've done game charts every year that I've been a coach. They've kind of evolved into what they are today. It's probably a 5-hour process of doing game charts. And it's basically where I take all of the information of what I've told you I've done up until that point, and I summarize it, cliff notes, onto my charts. Game day is always going to have shoot-around. Game day, if it's on the road, is going to have chapel. I'm always going to exercise on game day. As soon as shoot-around is over, in a perfect world, I want to have it 7 hours before tip, because I write every player on our team a note. And so 2 days before, I do certain things. 1 day before, I do certain things. And the day of the game, I do certain things. And it's all based on what time the game starts. So if the game starts at 1:30 on Saturday, that's a really early start Saturday morning. If the game starts at 7 o'clock at night, it's kind of a different flow. I really like it when it's 3 days before. 3 days before normally means our team is off, and I can absorb everything from TJ and Coach without having to talk to our players that day about the opponent, because they know I'm always going to be the first person that talks on 2 day. And the more time I have to absorb information, the better I am at watching it, studying it, looking at the numbers, and kind of playing the game out in my brain. And then I'm better when I talk to the team. When it's When we get to SEC play, that'll be different, right? We're going to play every Saturday, and then we're going to play either Tuesday or Wednesday. So if we play Saturday and Tuesday, that means Sunday morning is 3 days before and 2 days before, and we're practicing, and I'm working on my charts. That means Monday is 1 day before, and all of the things that come with it. And then Tuesday's the game. That means Wednesday is our off day. Wednesday is our off day, which means it's 3 days before. And then I can have the meetings with TJ and Coach because we're off that day. So 1 game per week will be what I just told you, 3, 2, 1. But 1 day of the week, 3 and 2 happen on actual 2 day before. So last week, this week, and next week, we only play 1 game per week. That's beautiful for my brain. When it's 2 games a week, there's from Sunday morning at 6 until Saturday night after the game, in that time span for 9 consecutive weeks, there's maybe 2 hours that are not accounted for. When am I sleeping? When am I eating? I already know what I'm eating. When am I training? When am I reading the Bible? When am I doing my normal reading? When am I doing game charts? When am I watch rebounding clips with 9 of our guys individually. That ends up taking a lot of time. A lot of that's 2 day, 1 day, and day of. Like when we ride to the game at Houston, Solo's always sitting with me on the way to the game because that's when I watch rebounding clips with him. The night before a game, we check in a hotel. We write thank you notes. We pray. We eat. When everybody's done eating, I watch rebounding clips with Henry. As soon as I finish watching rebounding clips with Henry, there's a group on our staff. I have a depth chart meeting where we plan all 200 minutes of, in a perfect world, who's going to play and when they're going to play and who's going to be on the floor. We have software that kind of studies that for us. As soon as they leave my hotel room, then for the next 4 hours, I'm doing game charts until late at night. And so it's once Christmas is over, it's time to go. 8 games in a month in 23 days for any player, for any coach is a lot. But doing all of this extracurricular activity that people that have a brain don't have to do, I have to do it just to have a chance. It just takes a long time.
Ian,
does that answer your question? That's the best question you've ever asked.
Thank you, Ian. Appreciate it. We'll come back. More of the Buzz Williams Show from Rudy's. This is Aggie Basketball from Learfield. Head on over to your local Rudy's or Rudy's.com to place an order for their Real Texas Barbecue. Enjoy 100% oak smoked meats, delicious sides, and Rudy's signature sauce. And don't forget, Rudy's serves made-to-order and grab-and-go breakfast tacos every day until 10 a.m. Final segment of this Buzz Williams Show. Aggies and Houston Christian, 7 o'clock on Friday, Fan Appreciation Night. Free admission, free parking for that one, 6:30 with our Dos Equis tip-off show. Always fun, the reward. I waited way too long to say this. This should have been said a lot earlier, but your SEC Player of the Week is Wade Taylor IV.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Well, good. Congratulations for.
Yeah, 34.
He's one of the 12 listeners.
Is he?
Yeah, I think we got 14 now. These 9. Paul and Nani, that puts us to 11.
Yeah.
4.
Yeah.
12.
We're there. Yeah.
Mr. Bergstrom, Mr. McLaren, we're 14.
We're good. We're climbing, Buzz.
I think we should do a subscription.
We should.
And then we'll really find out what's up.
Yes, we will.
Because Paul and Nani ain't paying for it.
Here's my self-serving statement for you. As you know, I have a podcast.
I learned about that 2 shows ago.
Yeah.
Because you had somebody on there. My man that gave me the barbecue sauce. Houston Chronicle guy.
John Lopez.
You said that's how I knew you had a podcast.
Yeah.
You've been hiding that from me.
I have been.
Is that through Learfield or is that kind of
that's through
Monaco LLC?
Studio 12. That's here, Texas A&M. Yeah, the LLC.
Studio 12?
Studio 12 is what we call our podcast network. Yeah.
Well, I've never been to the studio either.
You've been over there. You have.
During COVID?
12 no, you remember, I don't start with those. Those were. I didn't like that time period. No, it wasn't. It was fun being in that studio. This was the problem. Buzz then realized that because of all the commercials,
I did that
really
with you the day after my
minutes.
job.
Yeah.
The day after my press conference.
Do that one. Yeah.
I met Coach Fisher the day after my press conference. and took a picture with him. And then
You guys went out on the field, right?
Yeah, and then I came in there and the little
in that studio, in that radio studio. We did about an hour. That was a blast.
Yep.
That's
when everybody liked me. I was 0-0.
That's right. That's where Mike Elko is right now, right?
Is that right?
Football, yeah. Brian Anderson is my next guest.
He should keep his job December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, Labor Day.
Yeah. By the way, go play Notre Dame first.
Is that who we play first?
That's who he has, at Kyle Field.
Hey, the offensive coordinator from Notre Dame got the job at Troy today, I saw. I'm sneaky. I keep up on football.
I know.
I'm sneaky.
Yeah.
I'm footballscoop.com. Nobody knows it.
I've read that site a lot. I didn't realize that was you.
Yeah, I just don't tell anybody.
Yeah. My next guest is Brian Anderson, who says hello. He did your games at Marquette, and he had him at Penn State.
Nah, he is a real radio guy.
Oh, he's fantastic. Are you kidding?
He's unbelievable.
Wait a second. What do you mean real?
I didn't say you weren't. I'm saying he is a real one.
Yeah.
Tell Brian I said hello.
I will.
And another guy that I got to know when I lived up there who has the most unique voice, who I think is really good, is Kevin Harlan.
Oh, Harlan's awesome.
Now, one of his daughters is married the kid that played at Wisconsin when I coached at Marquette. That's not Brian's daughter, is it? That's Kevin's daughter.
Kevin's daughter. Yeah, she's in the broadcasting business. So Kevin, you ready for this connection? Here we go. Long time ago, I'm a student at Maryland, and he's still a KCMO in Kansas City. We used to string games, do updates from our game because he was in that studio all Saturday. He moves to the Timberwolves. I'm with the Magic. I'm learning everything I can in broadcasting from the Timberwolves. He and Tom Hanneman. Harlan he can do anything, Buzz.
Yeah,
TV, radio.
He calls NFL too.
Yes, he does. He probably has the Monday night game, and I know he had the NFL Network game on one of the three on Saturday. But CBS every time.
Hey, do you know the guy that runs Red Zone? He follows me and tweets at me, but I never met him. Yeah, I think he's brilliant too.
That's fun to watch.
Have you ever? That's the only way I watch football anymore.
It's the best way, right? You're going.
Oh,
every
Corey's
game.
like, how do you keep up with it? I'm like, yeah, that's my brain right there. That's it. Ping pong. You should know that. You've been married to me for 23 years. Yeah, that's how my brain operates. Look at all that stuff going on up there.
That is so. One game you can't take that.
Oh,
right?
That's the most boring thing ever. I'm not watching that.
Yeah, but you get that four. Do you do the screens, like 4 screens?
If I could. Corey only allows me to have one TV. That's why I watch Red Zone.
So Red Zone, and then everybody in scoring position go right.
It's so good.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
How often is your podcast?
We try for every Thursday. We slowed down in the holidays, but I started with Vern Lundquist. Brad
What
Nessler.
A stud. Does he still live in Steamboat Springs?
Yes, he does.
You didn't know I knew that either.
I did not know that. No, that was I couldn't think of a better debut.
He was on WFAA Channel 8. That was one of 3 channels I had when I was growing up. And he left WFAA ABC Channel 8 to go to CBS to start calling the NFL. And that's when they hired Dell Hansen.
Yeah, 30-something years later.
And so the first time I met Vern, he had to be old.
Right.
And I was younger before I got old. And I said, he was telling me about my career. And, like, we were doing an interview or whatever, and he was telling me about my career. And I said, if you don't mind, can I tell you about yours? And he goes, what about mine? And I started telling him everything. He goes, you grew up in Van Alstyne? I said, you never heard of Van Alstyne. You just knew that it was near Dallas. How about that?
That's awesome.
Thanks for asking me to be on your podcast, Monaco, Studio 12.
Merry Christmas. You got it. Aisha Jackson, thank you very much. She produces The Buzz Williams Show. Kevin Menchow, Merry Christmas to you and the family. To all you here, Merry Christmas as well. Happy New Year. This is Aggie Basketball from Learfield.